Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Dana, back again. Like we said, man, today is Thursday. I almost thought it was Wednesday, man, but we did Wednesday yesterday. Today we'll be doing Think About It Thursday. The title of today's video is called The Ultimate Friend, right? Um, First, though, we want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of his son, who is an instrument of salvation for the nation, who the world recognizes ignorantly as Jesus Christ, right? Um, and we understand that he died to save the nation of Israel from all of them that hate them, right? And to set them in their own land where we will be accompanied with rest, right? From the hard bondage and labor we've been doing through the wiles of time. But nonetheless, man, today's lesson is going to be entitled The Ultimate Friend, right? It's not going to be a long one. You guys know how I like to get in and get out. This is going to be a shorty, but a goodie, right? I am going to share a clip. It's a short little 30-second clip, man. And it's going to lay the premise for our topic today. Excuse me. I want to go ahead and say a parental advisory. There is one profane word in the clip. I'm going to try to stop it before it gets there because you guys will be able to get the point before we get there. Just didn't have a chance to crop it out. Nonetheless, man, I think it should be a good video. We're going to be highlighting actually something that is it's in the law, right? But it's more so of just a vague principle of, how we should be acting towards each other, right? Especially as friends, as we gather ourselves together, being a nation that's undesired, right? And so it's something that we should be practicing more often. In the grand scheme of things, I believe other nations do it better than us, and I think that's kind of a problem, right? But I think that's also where other nations find their success when it comes to dealing with, controversy and things within their own bodies, right? And so I think that'd be fun to look at. Nonetheless, I think I got like 4 precepts, give or take, and then we'll be out of here, right? But nonetheless, man, I want to go ahead and share this video with you guys. So, and I'm thinking about doing a series, man, where I just want to get this out before I forget. You guys let me know. You can comment on the video or whatever. But I think about doing a video where we highlight, laws and commandments, and show them in full effect in the world that we live in today, and how to keep them in the world that we live today, if that makes sense. Y'all kind of will get the gist once we do this video. But I'm thinking about doing some type of series like that, man, where we pick out how people keep the commandments today in today's society and what it would look like in today's society. Just don't know what I would call that series yet, but nonetheless, let's jump right into it. Right? Let me share my.
See your girl out, but I'm with one of my partners.
So I seen this video on Instagram, and I thought it was pretty profound as a friend, right? As friendships go, I think this is pretty profound, and I think it's something that we all should be practicing, right? But watch this.
I see your girl out, but I'm with one of my partners that don't know you, but I know your girl, and I know you, and he see your girl, and he trying to get at your girl. Guess I'm stepping in. Hey, man, that's my partner girl, but I don't know him. That ain't got nothing to do with you knowing him. I know him. So what that mean? I ain't letting that shit fly.
I missed it. Sorry, Salaki.
Now, if you caught her without me being around, then that's on you. But long as I'm in a present and I see that's my dog girl, or that's his baby mama, that's a no-go.
Right. So, Salaki, man, I tried my best, but I kind of forgot when it was coming up. But nonetheless, man, you guys seen the video. I think it was very profound, man. The man was pretty much explaining, hey, look, if you my guy, you my friend, right? Even when you're not around, I'm gonna be there to pretty much stick up for you. You know what I'm saying? To defend you, right? Even when you're not around. And that's something that we ought to be practicing, right? When it comes to each other. I brought up previously how other nations practice this in a certain aspect, and we don't. It's almost like this, right? When so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we get into controversies with each other and stuff like that. The person that we call is normally our oppressor, right? We don't keep it in-house. We don't say how it is, right? We often run to our oppressor, or we call 911, right? And as friends, man, we can't be doing that, right? As friends, right? We should handle it amongst ourselves. Kind of off topic, but nonetheless, man, in a certain aspect, it's highlighting that friendship, right? Between in our government, in our community, right? Being able to have a certain level of discretion, right? But nonetheless, man, to piggyback on what he was saying, it said he's pretty much saying, man, when his friend's not around, he's still going to stick up for his friend, right? If somebody was trying to get at his girl, something like that, he wasn't going to let that slide. Before we get into these precepts, I got a funny story. Not really funny, but a similar situation, kind of happened when we were growing up. So a familiar friend group, right? We all kind of grew up together, went to elementary school, middle school, high school together. I knew this guy, and he was dating this girl, right? And this happened in high school. But keep in mind, we known each other for a minute, right? And what happened was another friend that we knew, shalom to the brother.
Shalom.
Right. What happened was another friend that we knew that we grew up with, right? He ended up kind of, kissing up on the dude's girlfriend, right? Keep in mind, we knew all the parties involved. And so it all boiled down to it. As a young man, right, I can look back and recognize that we handled the situation wrong, because we knew what was going on and we didn't say nothing, right? Contrary to like the video that we just shared, the man was saying, hey, man, if I see this happening, I'm going to speak up and it's not going to fly around me, right? And needless to say, the most I said was done in the dark is going to come to light. And that's what happened, right? Our friend got found out. She got found out. And the funny thing about it, the guy that was actually messing with her, he caught less flack than us, right? Because the guy that we knew, the other guy that we knew, right, he was looking at the fact that we knew and we didn't say nothing, right? And sometimes that can hurt more than doing the dirt. Sometimes that can hurt more than speaking up. Sometimes we get afraid and be like, man, I don't really want to get in somebody's business, or somebody might get mad at me for speaking up, right? And I'm just talking in general, even to just young people out there, man, because when it comes to decision making, man, a lot of us don't see how it impacts people further down the line. I'm saying that to say, man, I can clearly say that we was in the wrong looking back on it. If I had a girl and she was doing that, I would want somebody to speak up, right? And usually anybody in that scenario would want the same thing, right? And the funny part is, man, the guy that we didn't defend, right? The guy that we didn't defend, he actually is a pretty cool and pretty good guy. He actually accepts the truth that we're Israelites as well, right? And you know, it's kind of a bad situation to where, you know, a guy with a spirit like that, you know, one little situation that we did back when we were kids could have ruined that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, the Most High is calling us to not be like, you know, hard-headed Denal back when he was a kid, right? Turning a blind eye to not defending a friend, right? So I'm gonna get this first precept out really quick. And brother Azrael was there too. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of it too. It's something that as brothers, man, we had to repent from, you know. We had to repent from it. Let's see. Um,
Yeah, it's two things in our community that we fall short of. One is not being a snitch, and the other one is only God can judge me, right? Which are pretty much the opposite of God's laws. So I don't know where we got those two mottos and principles from, but how are we going to be better as a nation if we don't snitch on each other? And how are we going to do right if nobody's ever judging a matter righteously? Everybody's just letting everything slide.
Man. And you know, that's kind of what I was hinting at the beginning, right? The brother just kind of tied it in for me. You know, we want to snitch to everybody but our own nation, right? A lot of times we can prevent a lot of things from happening if we just snitch on our own nation, bro, instead of going and snitching to the feds, to our oppressor, right? That's where we get caught up at, right? Because you snitch in your own community, man, you can set things straight. You snitch to the feds, man, they're liable to lie to you and get you locked up with the person you snitching on, right? Or get you jammed up with the person you snitching on, right? And a lot of other nations, they found this out and they handle everything in house, right, with a level of discretion, right? But let me get this precept really quick, coming out of the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? We're gonna go to verse 22 and verse 25. Right. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 22 and verse 25. Right.
You're not sharing nothing on your screen.
Oh, snap. It's cool. I'm sharing it right now.
The book of Sirach, chapter 22 and 25. I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him.
Man, the brothers was doing the exact opposite of this back when we was kids, right? We were ashamed to defend a friend, right? In the time where we needed to, in the times where the brother wasn't around and somebody was messing with his girl, even if we were friends with the other person too, right? We were ashamed to tell him to stop. We were ashamed to tell the other friend, hey man, you might want to pull up right now. Some crazy stuff going on right now with your girl and so and so, right? We were afraid to defend a friend in that time, right? It says, neither will I hide myself from my friend. Neither will I hide myself from my friend. When a friend comes around, man, and I know his girl been messing around on him, right? I'm not gonna hide myself. You know, I'm not gonna, and I'm not talking about physically hiding myself, but what I'm doing is, what I'm saying is, when he comes around, I'm not gonna act like I ain't seen nothing. I ain't gonna act like I wasn't there. I wasn't gonna act like I don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
The same thing about hiding yourself is what people say today. I didn't tell a lie. Just because I didn't say anything don't mean I lied, but that is a form of lying when you know the truth and you don't say anything.
Right, man. There's a proverb in the world that says, if you see something, say something, right? If you see something, say something. Because a lot of times silence, and then the Bible even talks about this too, but silence is taken as a agreement or a yes, right? And that's in the law. You know what I'm saying? It says if I think it's talking about if a woman vowed a vow and her husband didn't say anything, or if the husband didn't disapprove of the vow that she's taking, his silence is okaying her vow, right? Because the husband does have a chance to disannul the vow that she's taken if he doesn't want her to be on that vow, right? But nonetheless, the Bible speaks about this as well. If you don't say nothing, if you saw it as kind of agreeing with it, right? So if you see something, say something, especially to your friends, especially in your community, right? Let's go to I think this is Sirach chapter 6, right? And verse 14. All right, read that for me.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and verse 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such an one hath found a treasure.
Right, man. A faithful friend is a strong defense. When we were younger, man, we thought we thought we were good friends, thought we was doing the right thing, man, but we were not faithful friends. We were not a strong defense. Matter of fact, we were the opposite. We helped the breach happen, right? When we could have stopped it. You know what I'm saying? Could have stopped it before it got even worse. And it says, and he that has found such a one has found it a treasure, right? When you have that friend that will stick up for you when you're not around, that will defend you when you're not around, it's a treasure, man, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like you having the eyes in the back of your head, right? It's like you being there when you're not there. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we're supposed to be as a nation. If you think about it, it says one of us will put a thousand to flight, right? But imagine if it's 1,000 of us, right? And when I say that, it's in the aspect of when we're all together, man, we're unstoppable. When we're moving as a unit, it's just like a team, right? When the team is everybody on the team is doing what they're supposed to do, everybody got their back. We grew up playing basketball, right? We played basketball all the way through college. And one thing about basketball is, man, you can't make this up. It says a faithful friend is a strong defense. When you talk about defense in basketball, it's all about trust, especially when you get into higher levels like varsity basketball, varsity high school and college, right? Especially in the NBA as well, right? You're talking about defense. You have to know how to rotate. And what comes with rotating when you're playing defense, you have to trust that if I step up on this, if my man gets beat, or if my teammate gets beat by his man and I step up, I have to trust that somebody else is going to take my man, right? It's all about rotation, but you can't hesitate. You just got to do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's that strong defense. That's a treasure. Teams that have a good foundation of a rotating defense, man, right? And that trust each other, that's a strong treasure. And a lot of times they end up winning the ship. A lot of times the team with the best defense ends up winning the ship, right? I hope that doesn't sound confusing to all of y'all that don't play sports, but man, in defense and basketball, man, you have to be able to trust your teammates. Only in football too, right? You got to be the quarterback got to be able to know that his line is them trenches is gonna do what they're gonna do and keep them people off of his back so he can see down the field and throw that guy. You know what I'm saying? So that defense, man, is where it's at. You know, read this next one for me.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 6 and 15. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable.
Yeah, man, when you got somebody that will defend you when you're not even around, that's priceless, man. Right? You can't put no value on that, right? That's a real friend. You know what I'm saying? That's a real friend because he's doing something that you're not even asking him to do. You know what I'm saying? You can't put a price on that. You can't really define, that type of friend. There's a saying in the world again that says, it's in me, it's not on me. It's not on me, it's in me, right? It's not on that friend, it's in them to do that, right? That's just the spirit they got. Let's get one more. Go ahead.
Verse 16. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him.
Right, man. It's the medicine of life. It's medicine when your friend come up to you and tell you, hey man, you leaking, you bleeding right here. I know you didn't know it, but you bleeding right here, right? Let me patch you up. What I'm saying is it's medicine when somebody comes up to you, hey man, your girl, she really, she's snaking you out right now. She's, what I'm saying, like she doing you dirty. I know you don't want to hear it. Sometimes medicine is nasty. Sometimes medicine hurts. It's painful, but it helps you in the long run, right? That faithful friend is that medicine, right? They're gonna tell you what you don't want to hear. They're gonna tell you what you need to hear, and they're gonna tell you sometimes they're gonna tell you some flattering things too, right? But they that fear the Lord shall find him. You have something to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say about that second part. You're never gonna find a faithful friend if you don't fear the Lord, because one, the Lord's gonna know that you don't take correction well. So he's not even gonna send somebody your way. He's gonna send a bunch of yes men, a bunch of followers, maybe a bunch of people that don't even care about your well-being or your benefit, because he knows you don't fear him. So if you're not gonna do what he say, he already know that you're not gonna listen to godly counsel or the counsel the counsel of a faithful friend, right? So that's why a lot of y'all keep saying a good wife is in portion of a good husband, or a wife is given in portion of a man, as a wicked wife is given to a wicked man, and X, Y, and Z. But the same thing about, your friends, man. If you are not fearing the Lord in your walk, your friends are going to reflect that, man. Your friends are going to be partying. Your friends are going to be asking you to do different holidays, and asking and making you confused about pronouns and genders, and making you respect them in that aspect, and making you you're going to be finding yourself in a whole bunch of folly, right? So you can measure yourself, and you can measure your faith by the friends that are around you. If your friends are worldly, then you might be worldly, right? A lot of us, you know we end up being worldly without knowing it. And it's because the world is subtle. So might be secular music today, then it might be R-rated movies the next day, and then before you know it, you done build up to just being a worldly person, man. You're not even different than anybody in the world, right? So, a friend can definitely measure your walk in this truth.
Right, man. Hey, man. The funny thing about it, man, is that in the scenario that we gave, um, one, I want to say, if you're ashamed to defend a friend, don't be caught off guard when they don't want nothing to do with you afterwards, right? Because you wouldn't want none to, like, think about it, man. If my girl was doing me dirty, and I found out my so-called friends didn't say nothing, I don't want them around me, right? Because then they might be checking for my girl too. I don't know if they are. They might not, but they might be, right? And the funny thing about it is, the way he found out was another person in our friend group, right? See, we all kind of had a consensus that, hey man, we know this is wrong, but nobody was gonna say nothing. And I think people had told this other friend, is a girl, right? We had told her not to say anything, but she just couldn't hold it inside anymore. Something in her, right? Remember what I said, it's in you, it's not on you, right? It was in her that she had to go, and she had to tell this man, hey, look, hey, I know I hang out with your girlfriend every day, but she messing around on you, man.
Yeah,
Right?
and part of that too is, the good always prevail, right? He was a very good boyfriend. I'm not gonna lie. Like, he was in love with that girl, like treated her top of the line, like, treated her like she was a celebrity, a grade A celebrity, right? And she might have just been a regular girl, but that goes to show you that people are always noticing your actions, right? And because of how good he treated her, right, the dark was able to come to the light. Because one thing about it, to those that fear God and those that are good in spirit, right, the Most High is gonna look out for them. So the Most High probably put it on that girl's spirit to snitch, because she saw his his deeds, his work, right? So we could parallel that to the truth, right? When other people see your works, right, and see your integrity and see your cleanliness and see your love of God, right? That's when you'll fulfill those scriptures that say, he'll make you at peace with your adversaries and peace with your enemies and have favor in the land of your captivity and all those things, right? Because your works and your deeds are noticeable.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man. I just thought that was funny. But shout out to her. Somebody had to say it. I'm actually glad that because situations like that, especially in high school, sometimes people don't ever find out. Sometimes people find out when they're about to graduate college or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad he was able to find out right then and there, and he was able to dead it. Um, I don't even. But I'll just leave it at that. I'm glad that he was able to find out, even though, man, it threw a rock in the pond of everybody's friendship, and people kind of, found out where they stood in everybody's lives. I think it was a necessary lesson to go through, and I think we actually learned from that within that same year, right? We took from it and we learned from it, and with doing so, another similar situation came up. Right, it wasn't necessarily our friends, but they were associates, and I think the brother Azrael ended up speaking up on the brother's behalf and telling them what was going on. Right?
Yeah, because at the time, man, we thought we was doing the right thing, staying to ourselves and minding our own business. But then when it's pulled to the forefront that people gonna hate on you, whether you do the right thing or whether you hide the right thing. So at that point, in my head, I was just like, man, screw it, man. If people want the truth, because you got to understand, in that situation when we didn't speak up about the, let's say, adultery that was going on, right? Many of people in our shoes would have did the same thing. But because they weren't a part of the situation, it's easy for them to cast stones, right? So I took it as, oh, y'all want to cast stones? Well, then we'll everybody better tread lightly, because let's be honest, in high school, man, ain't nobody was faithful, right? So hey, be careful what you say around me. Be careful what you do around me, because it's coming out. I see how pissed off everybody was that I didn't say nothing, when I minded my business. So guess what? Now I'm not gonna mind my business.
Well, and that's why I said, man, growing up, man, you in high school, middle school, you think you're making the wise decision, right? In the moment, you think you're doing the wise thing by staying out of somebody's business, right? Minding your own, right? And then you grow up and you understand, man, some certain things need to be spoken up on. I think right after the situation, I think we told our father, and our father kind of told us that what we did was kind of messed up too. And that's where right then I was like, dang, I guess we didn't make the right decision on this one, right? And we thought we made the wise decision by trying to stay out of it. We genuinely thought that we was in the clear. When it first happened, we were like, man, why are you mad at us? Be mad at your girl. Be mad at the guy that was sleeping with her. Why are you mad at us? We ain't do nothing, but we did at the end of the day. But I wanted to bring up,
because I feel like, man, we took more heat than the people actually in the situation.
that's what I was saying at the beginning of the video. We got more flack than the actual culprits, but you know what I'm saying? That shows
people wanted to fight us for literally doing nothing.
I mean, that shows you, and again, man, that's why I'm kind of taken back, because that shows you how, where they put you at as a friend when they're that offended that you didn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? When they hold you to a higher standard and you didn't deliver, kind of makes me feel bad, right? And so, to this day, that's one thing that I regret. And I don't think I ever. I think I did give an apology, right? Shortly afterwards, but I think he wasn't trying to hear it. But it's one of those things where it's like, man, even though this happened years ago, it's like, you know, you kind of want to keep continually apologizing. Be one because you know the brother has a good spirit on him to this day, and the brother already he accepts that we're Israelites. He accepts we got to keep these commandments, right? So you know we know the Lord is dwelling within the brother, man. And I know he's not even holding no grudges, but it's one of those things where it's like,
Yeah,
dang,
you know,
man.
he got a family now, got a kid, he married.
Right. But one thing I was gonna point out is the fact that man, that's true repentance right there. Because I think when the brother Azrael ran into a similar situation and he ended up snitching, right, so to speak. I think that was I'm talking about maybe 2 months apart. But that's what true repentance right there and godly sorrow. Repenting meaning to do a whole 180. So the things that you used to do, you don't do no more, right? So he quickly fixed the issue, and then when it came up, he practiced the right thing to do,
You
right?
know, and also I wanted to highlight, man, that that's what Christ was mad about, man, with a lot of the Pharisees, scribes, politicians, um, man, or is a politician or what's the word?
Publicans,
Publicans, yeah. So, you know, he, you know, pretty much saying like y'all doing all this so that y'all don't lose y'all seat in the temple. Y'all doing all this so y'all can enlarge our borders. Y'all doing all this so y'all could be accepted. But you know, the truth is right in your face, right? And a lot of us, man, we just don't say nothing because a lot. Hey, look, the scriptures say, or the letters say, a lot of the Pharisees, many believed on him, but why? But why did a lot of them not follow him? Because you know they didn't want to speak up and tell the truth,
they were ashamed, man. They were
right?
ashamed to defend a friend.
Right, and so just how we were, you know, we were ashamed to defend a friend, and we saw the wrath after that. Imagine how mad Christ would be at all those people that just let homosexuality slide, just let smoking slide, just let drunkenness slide, just let all this evil stuff slide. He's gonna be mad that you ain't say nothing because
Right.
Leviticus 19 tell us to rebuke and correct and not suffer sin upon one another.
Right, man. Hey, look, and that's a perfect segue into this next part of this short little lesson right here, right? I want to highlight this real quick. What the brother said, and the end of this precept where it says, "And they that fear the Lord shall find Him." Right? We know that the scriptures be double to that which is right. What if we looked at this in the aspect of they that fear the Lord shall find Him? But who's the Him? Right? The Him is that faithful friend, right? Who is the ultimate friend in the Bible? Right? You know, when we ever do a lesson, we always got to revert it back to the one. You know what I'm saying? So it says that they that fear the Lord shall find him, just like what the brother was saying, right? You're gonna have to be doing this work for the Lord to pardon you, right? For the Lord to be that friend, that ultimate friend, that friend that sticks closer than a brother. You have to be doing the Lord's work, which is the fear of the Lord, right? The will of God. Watch this. Read this for me.
First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 5. For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus.
Come on, man. That friend is that mediator, man, between us and the most high God. He is the mediator, right? So you don't want to piss off the mediator, right? Um, imagine this. Imagine if this scenario that we mentioned, imagine if that scenario happened where we're all graduated from college, we still hang out with each other. And the brother that had the girlfriend, he was the plug, right? And he was in the midst of getting us into a good government job, right? 100K a year, you know, and then out of nowhere, all of this came out, right? In the middle of him trying to pull, be the plug for us to get into this good company. He would be the mediator between us and that job. And do you think he would honor? Do you think he would honor us? Right now, let's see. Now the brother that we actually speaking about, he might, Then again, I don't know. He was so mad at the fact of what we did, like the brother said, he was ready to fight. But so I don't think he would either, right? And it's the same thing with the man, Christ Jesus, right? If you're not doing the work, if you're not doing what it takes for him to be a faithful friend to you, right? When it's time to mediate to get to that big company, right? The kingdom of God, what do you think he's gonna do? You think he's gonna still plug you in with the Most High, with his boss? You think he's gonna plug you in, or he gonna let you kind of slide to the side? You on your own, buddy. Plead your own case, plead your own cause. Try to get in where you fit in, right? That's what's gonna happen. Let's go to the book of First John real quick, man. First John, I think it's 2:1. I think it's 2. No, it is not. First John, it's supposed to be First John 2:1. Oh yeah. This is it. Go ahead and read that.
The book of First John chapter 2 and verse 1. My little children, these things I write unto you, that ye sin not. And if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Jesus Christ the righteous.
Right, man. So, like I was saying, our mediator, our advocate, in layman's terms, that advocate could be an attorney, be like an attorney, or be like a lawyer, right? And so there is a chance where you misstep, you can get some grace. So even in the scenario that we painted, I know that's not the first time a scenario like that has happened like that in the world. I'm sure there's some times where that same scenario happened and people have a lot of grace to their friends for not speaking up, right? Even like the brother that we're speaking about, it might have took him some time, some years, but he allotted grace to us to where we can still speak to this day, still laugh to this day, still appreciate each other's company to this day, and learn from each other, build with each other to this day, right? He didn't have to do that. He could have cut us off forever. We know some people could have, you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, man, what you want to do is strive for perfection. Like we always preach, you want to keep doing the work of the Lord. And acknowledge the advice and the commandments that the Bible shares. A lot of the stuff that we did, we were children, and I like the fact that First John says, my little children, because sometimes you gotta put and it starts off with my little children, and it talks about giving grace, right? And sometimes when you're children, you make dumb decisions that you need grace for. But also the Bible speaks about when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I acted like a child, but now that I'm a man, I put away my childish ways, right? And so, how much good a friend, how much better of a friend is the man that we're talking about today? Not only Jesus, but the guy that we're talking about in a scenario, for him to to actually overlook that stuff, to let bygones be bygones, and all of that, right? Because I'm sure he had people in his ear, even to this day, I'm sure he has people in his ear saying, hey, man, forget them guys, bump them guys, man. I don't even know why you still talking to them, right? You got people like that. And I can appreciate he has a mind of his own, and to this day, I'm apologetic. But nonetheless, man, we got to keep doing these commandments and keep doing the things that makes us the ultimate friend to one another, right? But that being said, that is the video for today. Let me see.
See your girl out.
Did you watch this yet, Austin? I mean, Azrael?
Nah.
I'm gonna play it one more time. Again, Salakia, there is one bad word in here. So Salakia, all right.
I see your girl out, but I'm with one of my partners that don't know you, but I know your girl, and I know you, and he see your girl, and he trying to get at your girl. Guess I'm stepping in. Hey, man, that's my partner girl, but I don't know him. That ain't got nothing to do with you knowing him. I know him. So what that mean? I ain't letting that shit fly. Now, if you caught her without me being around, then that's on you. But long as I'm in a present and I see that's my dog girl, or that's his baby mama, that's a no-go.
That's a no-go. See something, say something. I see the sister brought up a precept really quick. She said Numbers 30 and 6. I'm gonna read that.
That's how it is nowadays. One thing I like about people coming into the truth is that we gonna snitch, man. And sometimes we do it a little too hasty, right? When I say too hasty, meaning we want to put people on videos off rip instead of going to that person first or going to the situation first, right? But one thing I will say is that we snitching now. You know what I'm saying? If I see somebody fornicating, committing adultery, cheating on their spouse, it's coming out, And the Most High put a spirit on us not to hold our tongues anymore. So, it's a no-go.
Shout out to my rib, man. She pulled the precept that I was talking about if you see something, say something. If you don't say something, that shall stand as an agreement with your silence shall stand with the agreement with that action, right? Could you read this verse for me? And we're going to read verse 7 as well before we close out.
Numbers 30 and 6. And if she had at all an husband when she vowed or uttered.
If a woman makes a vow and she has a husband, right? Keep reading.
When she vowed or uttered aught out of her lips, wherewith she bound her soul.
So she bound her soul, right? When she made this vow, but she has a husband, she has a head. Read this next verse.
And if she had at all an husband when she vowed, Salakia, and her husband heard it and held his peace.
And her husband heard it. So her husband heard her make this vow and he held his peace, meaning that he didn't say nothing, right? He heard it, but didn't say nothing. He saw something, see something, say something. But if you don't say something, what's going to happen? Keep reading.
And held his peace at her in the day that he heard it, then her vow shall stand.
Then her vow shall stand. Why shall it stand? Because his silence is going as an agreement, because he has the authority to disapprove, but that disapproval has to be made known. Same thing for forcibly laying with somebody, or what they call today as rape, right? Laying with somebody against their will. If that person does not scream out, does not make it known, right, that they don't want that thing to happen, right, in the laws of God, it is not counted as rape, right, or fornication, and you are seen as guilty as well. So your silence stands for an agreement, right? Keep reading though.
And her bonds wherewith she bound her soul shall stand.
Right. And the thing that she said, she uttered out her lips, right? Those things shall stand no matter what. Ain't no going back like, well, I didn't say nothing, so I didn't really agree. No, your silence is agreement, right? So the water for the sister for bringing that point up and finding that verse for me, right? True help meet. But Khan, man, you got anything else?
No.
Khan, man, let's try to be ultimate friends to each other as we gather ourselves together, O nation, not desire, right? It's our heart. Well, Salakia, first and foremost, giving all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of his son, who's an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? Remember, if you're not helping to gather, you're helping to scatter, right? You're being counterproductive. So if you're not gathering, you're scattering. I'm Brother Donald.
That's right, yeah.
We're the hopeful elect. This has been Think About It Thursday. Hope you guys were edified. We say shalom.